Officially, I would like to welcome you to this Zero W public discussion from innovation to market, commercializing food loss waste solutions in EU-funded project. This week, we actually have the Zero Waste Week in Europe, so I would say this is a good opportunity to talk about solutions that are tackling this big issue, not just in Europe, but globally. But also, besides having these amazing solutions that we develop in EU-funded projects, in research and in academia, we also would like them to reach the market and to reach the end users. Mostly, we have quite some challenges and barriers to overcome, and this public discussion would serve to understand what are those challenges and what are the best practices and solutions to commercialize food loss and waste solutions. So to start off, I would like just to showcase the first virtual meeting etiquette. We will be hopefully many here today. So please, if you are not talking, mute your microphones. Speakers, of course, also to mute their microphones when they're not speaking. Preferable, we would like to have speakers have their cameras on so people could associate your face as well with what you're talking to. If you have any questions throughout any of the presentations or at any given point of this discussion, please use the Q&A box or the chat box to comment, and then we will address your question in a timely manner. When it comes to the agenda, after this small introduction, by the way, my name is Daniel Pavlica. I'm a manager of EU-funded projects at F6S. F6S is the largest community of founders in the world, and we help startups, corporates, and governments grow sustainably. We have over 120 active EU-funded projects. After this small introduction, we will have Anna George, the project coordinator of Zero W from Inlecom Commercial Pathways, presenting you the keynote and opening remarks about the project. Later on, we will be moving on to identifying and discussing commercialization challenges that we have occurred within the Zero W project. It will be delivered by Sandra Stojanovic from the Biosense Institute. And later, we will move on to the presentation of successfully commercialized projects or initiatives that are currently being commercialized by Sanes Schneider from Wageningen University and Research and Patricia Lorenzo from Agro Insider. Later on, we will have hopefully plenty time to have a group discussion and Q&A session on the topic, and later on to conclude it in a nice manner. So without further ado, I would like to give my word to Anna. Anna, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name is Anna George, and I'm the coordinator of Zero W, the host of today's webinar. Very nice to meet you all and to welcome you on today's workshop. And I really hope that we can have a very interesting and engaging discussion about the commercialization of research project results, and in particular of our project, Zero W. As you can see on the screen, the long name of the project is Systemic Innovations Towards a Zero Food Supply Chain. And it's quite a big project. It's a 12 million budget. It is funded under the Green Deal call of the Horizon 2020 program. And we are quite a big consortium of 46 partners from 17 countries. Next slide, please, Daniel. Our project aims at reducing food loss and waste, as the name shows, through systemic innovations that are developed and piloted in our 9 living labs across Europe. We call those systemic innovation living labs, SIL for short, and they span the entire food supply chain from pre-harvest to consumption. And we are aiming to reduce the food loss and waste with quite an ambitious target of 20% at the end of the project, demonstrated through the innovations in our project. The systemic approach that we are applying in the development and monitoring and controlling those innovations is also supported and complemented by additional activities that you can see on the image just below the picture with the living labs. Like assessment activities, we are trying to ensure through those the environmental and economic sustainability of the solutions and to support the just transition towards near zero food loss and waste. And most importantly, for today's discussion, we are trying to find ways to sustainably exploit those solutions in the future. Next slide, please, Daniel. There is a very high expectations among our consortium members and also the funding authority, of course, that the innovations that we are delivering will find their sustainable exploitation in real life after the project completion. And we are certain that all our seal solutions will be exploited after the project completion. More details about the seals will be given by my colleague Sandra from Biosense after this presentation. So I won't be talking much about those in interest of time and so to avoid repeating. So Daniel, please, can you switch to the next slide? Thank you. As we have got together here today to discuss the importance of commercialization and finding ways to overcome barriers to its successful implementation, I want to make a very high-level summary of why commercialization is important. It sits at the center, leading to tangible benefits for the innovators. It drives the revenue generation, which helps sustain innovation efforts. It gives opportunity for the innovation to become market leaders through competitive advantage, ensuring they stay ahead of their competition. It allows the protection of intellectual property rights, which is essential, allowing innovators to monetize their creations securely. And ultimately, sustainability is achieved through continued commercial success, which support the long-term project goals. So all those wonderful outcomes that you see on the slide lead to the holy grail of research that we are trying to achieve, which is impact. Next slide, please, Daniel. On a larger scale, commercialization of the project research is important for the society, economy, and of course the Commission. It extends the impact beyond the innovators, driving the job creations and continuing the economic growth. It enhances the public welfare and creates meaningful societal impacts. And for DEC, for the European Commission, successful commercialization ensures return on investment, and of course it validates the innovation policies and justifies further fundings. Next slide, please, Daniel. And in the end, a short reminder for all of us that work on Horizon projects. The exploitation, besides its benefits, it is also a contractual obligation for all of us. As part of our grant agreements, we all have a requirement to exploit all the results that are generated by the project. And we should look at it in a way of making use of results and making results available through dissemination. And what we'll be talking today is making use of results through creating market opportunities, through commercializing them. Next slide, please, Daniel. So today we will discuss the challenges we face in commercialization, and with insights for our guests, we'll highlight success stories and examples from other Horizon projects. Thank you very much once again for joining us. And with this, I would like to give the mic back to you, Daniel.
Thank you very much, Anna, for the introduction and the remarks. Anna will, of course, be open for further questions towards the end. of our discussion. So Anna will remain here with us. Thank you very much, Anna.
Thank you, Daniel. Just to say that with me together today is my colleague Kata Trivkovic, who is the exploitation and commercialization lead of Zero W. So together we will be able to answer questions from our guests today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we move on to our speakers. So I would say the best would be for them to present themselves. So first, I would like Sandra Stojanovic from the Bioscience Institute just to give a sentence or two about herself.
Thank you, Daniel. I was planning to do it at the beginning of my part, but nonetheless, my name is Sandra Stojanovic. I am project manager in the Bioscience Institute in Novi Sad in Serbia. I work as a work package lead for our living labs, which we call SEALs. So basically, we are coordinating this part of the project that is the most interesting one, let's say, and also the most dynamic one. So I will be presenting also identification and discussion about commercialization challenges that we faced within these SEALs, and I will continue with my presentation later. So I give it back to you, the word, Daniel. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Patricia Lorenzo from Agri Insider.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm Patricia Lorenzo, the project manager of Agro Insider. Agro Insider is a Portuguese SME, and we are a technological company that developed an app to help the farmers in order to monitor, report, and verify the crop campaign. And also this app can be used in other types of systems, such as agroforestry systems, in order to quantify the biomass and convert to carbon credits. This in the Agro Insider is partner of the PESNU H2020 project. This project is focused on field testing and demonstration of digital and space-based technologies in agroecological and organic practice in systemic innovation. And the role of Agro Insider here is to use the app, the Agro Radar, to help the farmers in order to reduce the inputs on the crops, such as pesticide, fertilizer, and also to identify management zones where insect traps should be put. And I will explain more in my presentation. Thank you
very much, Patricia. We are looking forward to hearing more about AgroRadar. And last but definitely not least, Sane Strohsnyder from Wageningen University and Research. Sane, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Daniel, and thank you also for inviting me. My name is Sanne. I work at Wageningen University and Research. I'm a program manager there. I coordinate a program with very different research initiatives, all evolving around food loss and waste prevention. We do that for the Netherlands, in Europe, and also globally. We've had quite some experience with similar EU projects, predecessors of Zero. And I'm here today quite excited to share some of the valorized outcomes of those projects, just to showcase where you as a consortium and as a project can contribute to in the future. And I think it's really exciting. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Sane. Thank you as well, Sandra and Patricia. And also thank you, Anna and Kata. I'm expecting quite an insightful discussion here. And of course, I'm encouraging everyone to pose their questions, to spark the discussion, because this is what we are here for. Now, Sandra, of course, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Daniel. So once again, my name is Sandra Stanovic, and I will try to present as fast but as more complete as possible how we identified and discussed the commercialization challenges. So as already you heard, our project, in our project, we are demonstrating the reduction of food loss and waste through 9 different systemic innovation living labs, which we shortly call SEALs. And those span through the entire farm-to-fork value chain, from the pre-harvest to the consumption, and implement the prevent, reduce, and valorize circular economy principles. So here's just a short overview of how this work package looks and what are actually our goals with these SEALs. And zero exploitation and commercialization strategy segregate these 9 SEALs and corresponding innovations within 4 different clusters. Each of the clusters is targeting specific sectors of food supply chain. And here is presented in visual way. In cluster 1, we focus on a scalable data-driven IT platform that assists actors across the food supply chain to access the relevant information and make timely decisions to reduce food loss and waste. In cluster 2, we target the pre and the post-harvest innovations. In the third cluster, we aim to exploit the innovations targeting the food processing stage, exploiting several innovations, including smart packaging for fresh fish products, mobile food valorization, ugly food identification, and data-driven production optimization. Finally, innovations in the upper level of the food supply chain, including wholesale, retail, and consumer innovations, are the focal point of the cluster 4. And the purpose of this clustering in 4 different groups is to support individual partners or group of partners working within the same cluster to manage to evangelize the commercialization of developed solutions in alignment with the exploitation strategy of the companies that are involved in this work. Next slide, please. So this is how we work on the food loss and waste prevention. Some of our SEALs is dedicated to the prevention of the food loss and waste. Next slide, please. Sorry, Daniel, I forgot to ask to turn. So here you can see SEAL number 1, which is the base of the cluster 1, and its objective is to deliver and pilot an open data-driven IT-based solution for capturing food loss and waste-related data, and it is done through the supply chain, throughout the supply chain. The solution aims to empower the stakeholders to make smarter and more sustainable decisions when dealing with food loss and waste prevention and reduction. Next slide, please. So basically, some of the barriers that digital solutions such as our Zero Food Loss and Waste platform may face are the lack of industry-wide standards for data exchange that may limit interoperability between different systems and platforms. And there is another one that can be the lack of trust among stakeholders to place novel technologies such as blockchain at the core of their organizational processes. Next one would be concerns about data ownership and the security. Then we have a high complexity of information systems that may limit adoption by end users. There is also a problem with the reluctance to the use of new technologies, lack of technical expertise of end users, lack of specific data model that can be used to integrate available data. Then, of course, GDPR issues regarding data management and ownership. And the last but not least are the high costs of technologies and skilled personnel compared with the cost of agricultural inputs that may hamper the adoption of big data analytics tool upstream the food supply chain. Next slide, please. Now we come to the second cluster, which is based on demonstration of innovations for food loss prevention and reduction at the pre-harvest and harvest stages of fruit and vegetables, greenhouse farms through SEAL 3. which is on the next slide demonstrated and shows how the wasteless greenhouse solutions are based on novel remote sensing solutions, enabling accurate crop monitoring, fruit ripeness assessment, and yield estimation. Also automated produce quality evaluation and estimation of substandard produce at the harvest and pre-harvest and harvest stages, and the data-driven optimization of combined harvest scheduling and short-term predicted downstream demand. On the next slide, we come to the specific barriers that solutions developed by SIL3 faces when entering the market. Some of them are underestimation of levels and impact of food loss and waste at farm level by policymakers that may hinder the adoption of technologies from farmers to prevent it. If they don't feel it necessary or they do not have incentives to address the problems. Then there is also the lack of reliable internet connectivity in rural areas that can hinder the uptake of smart farming technology. There is a lack of holistic solution that helps farmers tackle the food loss and waste from multiple angles. There is a lack of standardized data exchange protocols that may limit the adoption of farm management information systems by farmers, as systems from different vendors can be incomparable between each other. Then we face the technological challenges of applying computer vision technologies in greenhouses. Adoption of smart farming technology or precise agriculture technology greatly depends on profitability for farmers. So this is one of also very important challenges. So technologies aimed to reduce waste may not be seen as profitable, and this may hinder the adoption, especially on smaller farms, because size greatly influences profitability of precision agriculture technology. So the adoption depend on investments, depreciation over the entire farm, and thus the larger farms can benefit from a faster return on investment than smaller ones. The increasing average of age of farmers, farm managers, it can also be a limiting factor in the adoption of new technologies due to the lower education level, so to say, or in general, older people are known to be a bit less skilled with modern technologies. And the cost, of course, of setting up the solution can be limiting for small-scale farms, as most of the farms in the European Union are small. However, these are not the primary target for the solutions, as their low production also means that they have a smaller amount of food being lost and wasted. Next slide, please. In cluster 3, there are 4 SILs that are grouped together. They are targeting the food processing stage of the food supply chain. And these SILs are SIL number 2, 4, 5, and 6. SIL 2 aims to prevent the food waste and the use of unsustainable packaging at the retail and the consumer level. Then adding the valorization circular economy principle in SIL 4, we demonstrate the use of a mobile food processing unit as a service to reduce food loss and waste. Through the SIL 5, we try to find a way to valorize another source of food loss and waste that is called ugly fruit. And finally, at the SIL 6, we work on prevention and reduction of food loss through data-driven production, process control, and optimization. Next slide, please. Shortly about these 4 SILs. SIL 2, as I mentioned, aims to prevent food waste and the use of unsustainable packaging at the retail and the consumer levels through the use of an intelligent, functional, sustainable packaging solution that eliminates the need of using absorbent pads for retaining the fish exudate. The whole packaging is made of bio-based and biodegradable materials, and it includes freshness indicators, like an intelligent label, providing visual information about the state of the packed food. Additionally, it demonstrates the use of a software for reading freshness color changes of the intelligent label and transforming them into remaining shelf life to allow the retailers to have the better possibility to manage their stock and reduce food waste. Next slide, please. Here we have SEAL 4 investigates the potential of a mobile food processing unit to optimize the valorization of agro-food products available in regions where large volumes currently remain underutilized or used for energy generation, while opportunities exist also for turning them into high added value products. So to complicate the background, transporting of such food loss and waste to processing facilities is not cost efficient either. Therefore, this seal tackles these lock-in effects by using a mobile, versatile processing unit with high throughput and offer it as a service to allow this food loss and waste biomass to be turned into healthy and tasty, minimally processed juices, purees or smoothies, as ready-to-drink or ready-to-eat products, or as a nutritionally attractive intermediate products in food processing and food service. Next slide, please. SEAL 5 addresses the problems of identification of ugly fruit or non-compliance to retail requirements at a late stage, thus reducing the possibilities for alternative valorization. This SEAL's process starts with the classification of vegetables and fruit at an early stage by non-destructive analysis and applied to a single fruit and vegetable or to a whole lot. It ends with the promotion at the retailer side of the quality products with a known shelf life, providing market strategies for ugly food and optimization of logistics and storage management as well. So the final products or services are a multi-sensor platform with the capacity to analyze and process around 300,000 fruits per hour, and with the possibility to classify in 3 different outputs based on the quality, shelf life parameters, and organic or inorganic origin. Portable mass spectrometry is able to identify the organic tomato samples, and data service platform to control the input of the produce. Next slide, please. 3 different computational models are developed within our SEAL number 6 to support the controlling of very specific product and process parameters that drive the food loss due to the product non-compliance. So 2 will be based on the use of a portable NIR and the development of corresponding chemometrics to get the target variables, applying novel artificial intelligence techniques. And the other is an intelligent data analysis of multiple process parameters captured by classical sensors, again, using novel AI tools. Next slide, please. So this slide leads us to the specific barriers that are associated with each SEAL. For the SEAL 2, which I will remind you was innovative packaging for fresh salmon, just some of the barriers that we identified are that the consumer's acceptance of new sustainable materials can be limited. Then there is the low awareness about the advantages in the use of freshness indicators among end users and the retail wholesale distribution stages of food supply chain. End of life management of packaging materials is quite complex, so separation of individual elements is required, but it is not clear who should do it. So this problem is aggravated when the food is not consumed before disposing it, and the constituents of the package cannot be easily separated. Then there are also economic or funding barriers, which are higher than expected costs of development due to different variables in strings to the nature of the material. Also technical issues related to availability of materials, compatibility between the tray lid and the coated film. and also different logistic requirements for the new packaging design. Then there is the value utility of the solution, which depend on the number of the user as well, and issues gaining customers' acceptance. So unfamiliar products, new methodologies, and solution that might be too complex to understand by end users can also be sometimes a limiting factor. And of course, the regulatory requirements that the label acting as freshness indicators developed with our partner must comply with the regulation of the European Union and be authorized for use as intelligent material. For the SIL 4, which was, I remind you again, mobile processing unit, we identified the packaging placing requirements of the mobile processing unit that might limit the use. These are related to the container location conditions and access roads as well. There is also a low awareness of end users, new technologies and service which may not be well known to primary producers as one of the main customers. Also, if the price of the service is higher than deriving the produce to other uses, it is unlikely that the new solution or service will be accepted. For the SIL 5, which was ugly food identification, some of the barriers are technology concerns causing a need to optimize the proposed system to address the large demand or urgent requirement of the product. Also, costs can be limiting factor to the adoption of the technology as always. Barriers associated to the seasonability and the logistics of greenhouse cultivation as well. This additionally emphasized by geographical distribution of the competitors and also high specificity of the technology, which has to be adapted for each type of the fruit or vegetable separately. And finally, we come to the SIL 6, which was the algorithm for the optimization of food processing lines. Some of the barriers we had identified are the final price of the solution. So the food processing industry is comprised mostly of SMEs, and their investment capacity is generally very low. So they require short-term tangible benefits and very short return on investment. Also, low digital skills of food operators may limit the adoption of the technology, and a foreseen technical barrier can be optimal integration with other main IT components. Yes, okay, sorry. Next slide, please. And we come to the final cluster 4, which is comprised of the remaining 3 SILs, which are directly involved in providing solutions at wholesale, retail, and consumer level. These are SIL 7, 8, and 9. In SIL 7, we try to demonstrate food loss and waste reduction through improving the efficiency of the food bank networks. Through SIL 8, we look into more high-value transformations of food waste. More specifically, it's dedicated to algae production medium. And finally, in SIL 9, we have food waste reduction measures at the consumer level. Next slide, please. So the SIL 7 is the food bank that plays an important role in addressing food waste and food insecurity. However, the food donations that make up the good food supply have a very irregular and uneven flow, as it is already known. So it can result in inefficiencies in utilizing the donations. So this SIL aims to help matching supply and demand in food bank supply chains to contribute to the improved food waste reduction strategies, while still addressing the food bank's goal to address food insecurity through developing several models and tools that support the decision-making at food banks and the companies donating to food banks, and also through developing a handbook of possible food waste reduction strategies that food banks can adopt. Next slide, please. The focus on SIL 8 is to develop a pre-treatment solution within the food retail sector based on the process of the hydration that supports the valorization of the food waste to obtain a culture medium suitable for microalgae cultivation. Such microalgae are then aimed to be used by the cosmetics and or sustainable packaging industry. And to guarantee the expected results, our seal optimized the in-store, in-warehouse pre-treatment process, develops the proper container to transport the outputs between stores and microalgae production facilities. It studied the best logistic procedures for transportation with the least environmental and economic impact, of course, and developed the most convenient process to grow the microalgae. Next slide, please. And finally, Seal 9 is based on the understanding that reducing food waste and the environmental burden of our food system begin and end with the choices that we as consumers make. And the objective of this seal is therefore to develop recipes and menus with low expected food waste, high nutritional score at the same time, and also low environmental impact of underlying supply chain. Also, this seal aims to develop labels and scores to inform and trigger consumers' behavioral changes. And the next slide, please. And the final slide. Regarding the cluster 4, our main challenges that we faced on the wholesale, retail, and consumer that they are facing is separation of food waste, mainly at the consumer stage, but also in food service or retail stage. It is more difficult than upstream in the supply chain. So food waste is managed as a municipal solid waste mixed with other types of waste, and the separation and logistic issues can limit adoption of alternative food waste management solutions. Lack of stakeholders' engagement in initiatives aimed to separate food waste and to recycle or revalorize it is also a very common challenge. And specifically for Seal 8, there are regulatory barriers limiting the use of microalgae grown in cultures using food waste. So currently, these cannot be used to obtain human food or animal feed. However, there are not known regulatory barriers for use in other industries such as cosmetics or bioplastics. And that would be shortly for my part of the presentation. Next slide is about my contact details. So in case of any further questions, I'm happy to answer. You can reach me through this email or LinkedIn as well. Thank you very much. Daniel, I give back the word to you. I hope I did this enough fast.
No worries, Sandra. Thank you very much for the insightful, extensive presentation. It would have been shorter if we had less innovations, but we aim for big impact, so we have a lot to share. So thank you for sharing all the what we do with our sales, but also most importantly for this discussion, what are the main challenges that we are facing when it comes to commercialization of these solutions. Thank you very much, Sandra. I assume that you will have to leave us soon, but of course we have other quite knowledgeable people from the consortium that can take up all the questions as well regarding systemic innovation living labs. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Sandra.
thank you, Daniel. Unfortunately, I will have to leave now because I am already in another event, but I did my best really to present as much as possible and as fast as possible. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Sandra. So to give more insights and to give more information, I would like to let Patricia share her screen. Patricia, let me know if you can share your screen.
Yes, one moment. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, absolutely, Patricia.
Okay, I will try to take this away, so do not bother. So hello, everyone. Thank you very much for the Zero W workshop invitation. It is a pleasure to be here, and thank you for all the audience that are assisting this workshop. Today, I'm going to talk about the AgroRadar and the Food Sustainability Index for the traceability of agricultural product sustainability. So I'm the project manager of AgroInsider. AgroInsider is an SME located in Portugal. We have several certifications and seals, for instance, from the Seal of Excellence of H2020. We also are a key innovator SME from the Innovation Radar from the PESNU project, the one that I'm presenting today. We have the Eureka Seals and others. We are partners and the leaders of some projects such as H2020, Prima Projects, Fundação La Caixa, and others. So the PES2 project is the objectives is the field testing and demonstration of digital and space-based technologies with agroecological and agronomic practice, organic practice in systemic innovation. In this project, we use digital and space-based technologies such as robotic traps, agroradar, autonomous robots, and in situ and real-time UVC nutrient analyzers, and also user-centric DSS. We use also the agroecological and organic practices such as automated agro-waste recycling system, biopesticides from agro-food wastes, and nutritional programs and circular economy food systems. The objective is to have an impact in order to reduce the loss of nutrients, reduction of pesticides and fertilizers, and improve the food yield, and also reduce the production costs by at least from other things. In this project, it is composed by 20 partners, 10 are SMEs, 2 industries, and 5 NGOs and associations, and 2 research centers, and 1 university. In PESNU, the role of AgroInsider is to use the agroradar, to use satellite data from the Copernicus program of European Spatial Agency, Sentinel-1 and Sentinel-2, in order to improve the agroradar algorithms, in order to monitor, report, and verify the crops. In this case, the crops were located in Greece and in Spain, and identify anomalies and generation of personalized alerts, develop the food sustainability index, and generate historical crop benchmarking. This data is being protected by blockchain that was developed by the other partner and coordinator of this project, the CERF. So currently, the agroradar, it is named during the project. The agroradar changed the name to Smart AG, but it is the same. It is a platform where we have Earth observation data from the satellite data that I said previously. We want to enhance. The objective was to increase or update the app in this project. We use the app to identify anomalies that are occurring in a crop, and based on that anomalies, we create management zones in order to select the areas for the next crop campaign where farmers should put more or less nutrients or fertilizers, and also we identify the sites where traps or sensors should be put on the crops. We use the Copernicus data, and also the Meteosat second generation satellite to land surface temperature. We incorporate advanced AI-based solutions for automatic image classification, and we identify optimal sampling points. For instance, if you want to take some soil analysis or leaf samples, we can automatically identify that areas, and we model historical data and detect anomalies and send personalized alerts. So every time an image is produced, it depends of the region, but more or less in an average of every 5 days, the farmer has a new image, and the image gets inside of our system and automatically produce an alert. And this alert gives you the size of the anomaly, if it is low or high, and where the anomaly is occurring. So in an efficient way, the farmers know where the problem may exist and go there to verify if it is true or what is the cause of that anomaly. So this is our app. How can you visualize in your cell phone, or you can also use in your laptop. It includes the Sentinel-1, it is a radar sensor, Sentinel-2, a optical sensor, and the land surface temperature. We also have here the European GPS, Galileo. So all combined in an app that every farmer can use. The objective is to make invisible what is invisible to human eyes, and with this app we can analyze any area in any part of the world. So this is how you can see the app. You get your login, then the farmer will see the current crop campaigns that are occurring, and then these are the alerts reports the farmer will receive weekly. You can see if it is green report, it means there is no anomaly. Yellow, there are some anomaly, and red, there is a huge anomaly. And in the case of clouds with the Sentinel-2, because it is an optical sensor, you will not have information from the crop, so you will receive a gray report. This is an example of a parcel where you can see the differences, the colors. This is NDVI, so the greenness of the vegetation. You can see where is more productive or less, more green or less green, and identify the management zones. This gray maps beneath of the colorful maps are the management zones. Automatically, the app detects 2 or 3 management zones. And this is the monitorization in the space. If you want to see monitor on time, you can see here each dot, it corresponds to the average value of NDVI in this case of each image, and you can see the evolution of the crop during the campaign. So the NDVI is increasing, the vegetation is growing. And this is the example of the use of AgroRadar at regional scale. At local scale, and to create trustability, you can use the app to register georeference evidences on the field. This could be audios, photos, or videos, and you register, for instance, all the management practices that are occurring in the crop, and this will create trustability. If you find, for instance, some pest or disease, you can go there and take a picture of the pest and disease on the crop. So you will know that in that place it was occurring that disease. And also, if you put some pesticides or fertilizers or nutrients, you can register the evidence. So this will be all registered and will validate the satellite image. This is an example of the PestNo experimental fields. Here you have the plots that were used in the PestNo. This is from the partner CDTA in Murcia. It's the left and the right parcel. Please do not look to this middle part. Here it is NDVI, you can see the colors. The crop here was growing, so that's why it's not so blue or green, but here you can see the colorful changing. Here is how the field looked like in this date, in this specific place, and you can see the presence of this is lettuce and tomato in this case. So there is a register of evidence of what was occurring on the field. And after the campaign ends, we analyze all the satellite image and we identify management zones. As you can see here, this is the NDVI image, and the right one is from NDWI, so the water in the plant. In the left you have the greenness and water in plant, and based on this we identify management zones, the red areas and the green areas, and we identify the places where the ground sensor should be put in order to measure the moisture, pH, and other temperature of soil. So the different variables that you can take from the ground sensors. And also we suggest that in the green area where the vegetation is more green, where there are more opportunity to occur pests and disease, we advise the farmer or the partner to put some trap sensors. Here is after this crop campaign next year. This is the experimental design. Here it's where the soil sensor or ground sensors were installed, and also the trap, the insect trap was put it here in the greenest part of the parcel. So with all this information, we want to create transparency and optimize the agricultural process and to monitor and manage the natural resources in a more efficient way. We also, in this project, developed the Food Sustainability Index. Is a index similar to the global warming potential. So we calculate the footprint of the product inside the farm. We ask the farmers for the inputs data, such as fuel, fertilizers, and other type of information. And based on that, we calculate CO2 emissions, and we calculate the ecological footprints. And based on this information, we can see that the most the factor or parameter with the highest footprint is the fossil fuel combustion. Here you can see that this is an example from the tomato in the CDTA, that the carbon footprint per area you can see here, and also the carbon footprint per product. And this data it is important for the farmer to compare the tomato crops inside his farm and see which crop has highest or lowest footprint in the production of the product. And also it can compare with the farmer's neighbors, so you can see if his footprint is higher and lower. And this is important in order to the retail market to buy, when they buy the product, to know which farmer has a lowest footprint in the production of the product. This data will be important, FSI, as a traceability to monitor of the production chain inside the farm, and creates a clear information for farmers, company, and the consumers. And in a sustainability way, this is an incentive for reduction ecological footprint. So the takeaway message that I would like to share with you is that combining AgroRadar and FSI, it is essential tool for sustainability in agriculture. In one hand, we help the farmers to have a more sustainable management of the crop, the production of the crop. And in the other hand, we promote efficiency, transparency, and environmental responsibility. The positive impact is we contribute to a more sustainable and transparent food system. And from the innovation to the market, we sell as a service the app, because if we know that the farmer have a lot of work to do and very important things to think, and what they want from the app is not to have. They like to have the map and monitor by themselves the crops, but also to have a fast information to tell, look, go to the fields, there is an anomaly occurring in this place, go there to verify. And in this way it can prevent the loss of product and loss of money in the production of the crop. And it is important to use this app and train the agriculture technicians in order to help them to be more efficiency. And behind all the scene, this is the team from AgroInsider that is working in the app and all the other projects that we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Patricia. I'm sure everyone will have more questions about the product and about the commercialization of it. Now, to be mindful of timing, once again, thank you very much. I would leave Sane and her presentation to shine.
Thanks, Daniel. Just keeping an eye on the time. I still have 10 minutes, or?
Minutes, yes.
Okay. So let me just try and share my slides with you. First of all, it's really exciting to see how much work is being done within Zero. And also the example that now has been highlighted shows, on the one hand, that there are quite a few challenges of commercializing such innovation to really deliver impact for food loss and waste. But on the other hand, there are so many opportunities and co-benefits actually as well. So that's pretty exciting. I'm invited to explain a little bit more about the work that we have been doing in this space. Actually, already a bit before Zero initiated, and to share my thoughts on what is our experience in this and what it actually resulted in. And I think it's good to explain a little bit more about my my second J job in addition to working at Wageningen University in Research, and that is that I'm part of the Dutch Foundation Food Waste Free United. We run the Dutch ecosystem on food loss and waste. We have over 110 stakeholders from the full supply chain joining forces to collaborate and accelerate at delivering SDG 12 for the Netherlands. That's an exciting ecosystem. A lot of things happen there in terms of monitoring, innovation, consumer change, behavior campaigns, but also overcoming systemic barriers. And I think in the context of our workshop today, I think it in terms of commercializing innovations and solutions, that ecosystem in the Netherlands, above all, creates a launching pad for good ideas, pilots, and fertile ground for uptake and scaling of these kind of solutions. So I think that is quite pivotal. And often we see that these collaborations within EU projects serve as a good start for this fertilizing and prepping of our grounds. But it is very helpful if there is a bigger movement and a building momentum in a country or a market for uptake of these solutions. And I think in that sense, we have been working on this in the Netherlands already for a long time, started with measuring already in 2019, trying to monitor, and having multiple, especially also largely driven and coordinated by my organization, several European initiatives to really keep us going on this journey. And now I think we are one of the front runners in Europe and globally in bending the curve in terms of food loss and waste reduction. I've highlighted when we embarked on Refresh, that's one of our core projects and programs we worked on. But before that, we coordinated Fusions, which was, I think, the one of the first attempts to harmonize measurement in Europe. Of course, we are not there towards 2030, but I think we have quite a clear idea of what we need to do in the Netherlands. And for some of the sectors that we work with, we are quite far. If I then zoom into how innovation works within the context where I work the most, I really recognize the typical idea of an innovation funnel. But I especially want to highlight the different types of innovation that I see happening in this space in the Netherlands. And that's technological innovation. And we've seen quite a few really interesting examples already in the sales. I see a typo here on my slide, I'm sorry. But there's also institutional and social innovation. And for all three, we usually try, both from Wageningen University and Research, but very much also from our Food Waste Free United ecosystem, with that 110 stakeholders, to scout for these solutions, to see if we can test them, evaluate them, and then start scaling quite quickly. And for that testing, or piloting, or trying out, or however we call it, that fertile ground you are facilitating within your sales is really important. And I'm going to highlight just 3 examples of these different types of innovations that somehow originated from research projects. So the first one is technological innovation, and it's called the Food Waste Factory. It's an actual running factory at the moment. It's located in Veghel, in the southern parts of Netherlands, where we also had our European conference in June. And it is a factory. It's a factory that is small scale, quite innovative, and very flexible at making delicious, nutritious soups, sauces, and ready-made meals from often surplus or wonky vegetables and fruits from small and medium enterprises and farmers. And this originated in a food-to-food project, which started in 2012. And they also participated in an EU project, which was about flexible food processing of side streams and waste streams. And they even have a surplus food waste factory restaurant at Schiphol, where they serve their products. And this is a social enterprise, but it's commercially viable. It works with people that have a distance to the labor market. And it mainly serves catering organizations with their products. And I think it's a very interesting example. If you ever come to the Netherlands, you can visit this location to, what you are also working on in your sales, to really address smaller volumes of surplus coming from primary production and converting that into shelf-stable food products that serve an excellent market, actually, which is also facing increasing market demands in the Netherlands, both from caterers as well as from retailers. But I think this is an easy technological innovation to imagine being valorized. What I would also like to show is that I think our actual Food Waste Free United movement, is also a valorized innovation that spun out of a European project. It's an excellent example of institutional innovation. Before we set up this foundation, we had tried in many ways to reduce food waste in the Netherlands. But most of the initiatives we took were small and beautiful. And I don't mean that condescending, but they were very dispersed. There were sometimes overlapping, sometimes even competing. And they really lacked participation of private sector, scale potential with that as well. And as part of the Refresh project, we were able to pilot the Netherlands as a country where we could work on a national strategy. And that is really where we set the first steps to what is actually the predecessor of Food Waste Free United, and now has grown into this organization of significant size with significant impact. And I included a short video, which I will skip for the sake of time, but I can share you the link. It's a video where we celebrate our 5th anniversary, and it showcases, I think, quite nicely the institutional innovation that we were able to realize. And then last but not least, I will share with you an example of social innovation that spun out of one of our actually also Refresh EU projects, in which we had my university colleagues from the consumer and marketing group develop a by now quite known consumer food waste model for behavior change on a scientific base that fed into our current consumer behavior change campaign. That was really used as a basis for the development of our campaign. Next week, we launch our Food Waste Free Week for the 6th time, still with some of these insights as a basis for the interventions that we design. And that, at least last year, it was already really big. we were able to reach, I think, 7 million Dutch people, which is pretty much everybody that makes a decision at a supermarket or in a restaurant. And they also indicated that they were able to do something additionally to reduce food waste during that week. So that's actually also a way of valorizing your innovation. And in that sense, I think I'm really curious to see what in a few years' time will have come out and spun out of your sales as valorized and commercialized solutions and innovations. And for me, the key factors to success here is to organize your research really action oriented, and to consider piloting versus scaling. Sometimes our pilots are not so replicable or scalable. So that's really an area where I think we should focus our efforts. About focusing efforts, R&D resources, but also time, I think it's important to really focus on the pre-competitive challenges, because in the food loss and waste agenda, there are many. And they are very often not so much technological, but also very much behavioral. And that's one of my final key factors to success, to keep on making an effort to include these supply chain actors, but also consumers that actually need to make different choices in the end about what they take off the shelf or put on their plates. And just because this is an exciting topic, and I think we are all doing great work, it's really nice to take this personal as well, and to see how you can also inspire people in your direct surroundings, including colleagues, including family members. And this is me actually during COVID time trying to save a potato mountain in a really nice citizens action. But I think these are, for me, the key factors of success in the years that I've been working on these initiatives. And this is just a slide for you if you want to know more about what we do in Wageningen on this topic. So that's it for now. Thank you very much for your time and the invitation, and I hope to learn more about what your project will valorize. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Sanne. I personally like this last point, take it all personal. I would say this is where the change starts. Now I would also give time for questions. If you have any questions for Sanne, Patricia, for Anna, Kata, anyone from Zero W about the solutions and about the initiatives that have been presented. I see already we had questions for Patricia. Patricia has answered them in the chat related to Agro Raiders competition and Agro Raiders contribution to minimizing nutrients waste. So thank you very much for the question, and also for Patricia for already answering. So anyone, if you would like to ask question, feel free now also to speak up. Now we came to the part of the public discussion, so please, you can raise your hand, or if you are shy, you can type in the chat box.
It seems to be not possible for me to raise my hands. I don't know if that's just me, or is there something that is not allowing participants to raise their hand? I can only... Oh, no, I can. Sorry.
It's okay. Then Lisa.
I just didn't click right. I had a question for Sanne. Well, many questions, but let's start with that. Regarding the food waste factory, you say it's a social enterprise, but it is commercially viable. In my experience, products made out of leftover or surplus vegetables or fruit or whatever end up being more expensive, production-wise, logistical-wise, much more expensive. So do you manage, are the customers of the food waste factory willing to pay additional price for the same product that is made out of leftovers?
That's a good question. Usually the answer is no, but I think price in many of these cases is not the real problem. It needs to be price competitive for sure, but what I see is that the food waste factory serves quite a lot of customers in, for example, professional catering, so restaurants at companies, And very often these catering companies have a procurement, a contract that also enforces sustainability targets on them. So they either put in, for example, food-based measurements effort, but also including sustainable products in their menus. So for them, it's an easy way to reach their targets. So it's an added value product for them. And sometimes they're able to pay more. I see, however, that most of these social enterprises that bring these kind of products to market are not always competing in taste. So in addition to, I think if the product is really delicious, you can even ask a bit more if you show added value. But if it doesn't taste great, really great, then there is no recurring purchase. So in my practice, taste is sometimes even more of a challenge than price. And the Food Waste Factory makes delicious products.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, Sane. We have the next question from Irini.
Yes, hello. I'm Irini from Q-Plan from Greece. I'm the project coordinator of Rosetta. That is a new project started this year to find solutions for food waste that relates to use of marketing standards, such as the ugly food that you mentioned earlier. Based on, at least at a local level in Greece, based on interviews we have with local actors in the food value chain, I'm surprised with the previous question because we found out that any foods that do not conform to specifications at the farm level, they are already directed to different markets, such as processors that, for example, tomatoes to produce tomato juices or fruits to produce juices at a large extent. And they even told us in some cases that almost most of the juice production is from these fruits or vegetables that do not meet the marketing standards. So what we call some ugly or not conforming foods. We are further investigating that, of course, in other regions and different procedures. But I'm surprised that you said that it's of higher cost because from what we understand is a practice, at least in Greece, that it's a usual practice. So it's not something additional. So do you have anything to say about that for both previous speakers?
Well, in some cases, but it depends very much per region, growers are not compensated for their surplus. So some are, but not always. So it depends on, is it still worthwhile for the grower then to get rid of the bounty in a good harvest year, for example? Additional costs are usually generated by the fact that these fruits and veggies with different specifications, they can be huge, they can be small, they can be bended or three-legged. Very often we just had a case of what was it? I think it was beets or carrots, but they had a lot of tar, like they had a lot of ground still sticking to them, so they have to be extra washed, like twice or 3 times, and the price for the grower is less because of that, because they require much more handling than standard produce. So usually the costs are influenced by that extra step that needs to be taken into production, and very often the volumes are smaller. And the best way for many companies to optimize on cost is to increase volume and upscale to larger production facilities. This is often not the case. These kind of surpluses fluctuate quite a lot, so volumes are a lot smaller and costs therefore are higher.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to add that usually it's in farmer associations that they do these practices where they can have larger volumes to
So that's a very good alternative solution.
it's correct what you say, Irene. We saw the same in Spain, where we researched a case on orange juice production, so it was already happening that the leftover, the unsold, the category 2 streams are bought by large processors to turn it into juice. That's a common practice. So those are not the leftover streams I'm talking about, actually. Those are that's the low-hanging fruit, let's say, which is already being picked by those organizations that are organized to do exactly that and to work with these volatility. They look for the lowest price and the lowest possible quality that they need to make their produce. But then everything else that is still not processed after that, that is still the waste that remains. Those remaining streams are, of course, very unpredictable in smaller quantities. Sometimes yes, sometimes no, and then it becomes really difficult to get organized in a logistic manner, because then and in production wise, then you cannot have the same kind of machinery. Then you need to be really adaptive, and flexibility costs money in production. That's always, and in logistics, that's always the case. And then it does. So it's you have these two extremes, I guess.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, it's quite clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we move on to some guided questions, Sani, if you could answer briefly on a question related to which of the small and beautiful solutions did you took into your model/solution during your...
Which of the small and beautiful solutions I took in, so that were great but weren't impactful? Well, I think in the early days, when we really put this on the agenda in the Netherlands, we had these disco soup events, for example, really large scale disco soups. We had a dam square full of hundreds of people making this, having this great evening to and making disco soup together, and really putting this on the agenda. We now have a great innovative meal box company that provides meal boxes filled with surplus ingredients. And that is for storytelling sometimes really good and for putting it on the agenda, but it doesn't always really address the sort of root cause of why food is wasted. And that's overproduction, or when it comes to fresh produce, very often the fact that farmers aren't under contract, but they are open contract farmers, and they actually are not producing for what they know they're already going to sell. And yeah, those, or there's weather conditions and climate change and unpredictability, and they are trying to reduce the amount of pesticides that they're using. And yeah, those kind of things are, I think, more scalable and implementable in what we call standard operational excellence. So if we are looking at innovations, I think many of the innovations we now focus on to address food loss and waste eventually will have to settle in somewhere in a normal business practice and just be integrated, not a separate standalone tool or solution or service, but have to become part of a norm, the social norm or the industry norm, to be efficient with your food resources, or to measure your food resource use efficiency as your standard management information on which you steer your company. So I think we are in that transition of things that now are small and beautiful, could be bigger, but in the end, all these solutions and insights need to be integrated into something which is just everyday business if you are somebody with a good sense and want to make some money.
Thank you, Stane. Hopefully that answered the question.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
Now, I would like to ask our speakers, but also everyone else here in the call, regarding commercialization itself. So can you describe a specific challenge that was encountered while you were commercializing your solutions, and how did you overcome it, sorry. So anything that...
Can I start?
Please, Patricia.
Okay. The company, the Agro Insider was funded with the objective to sell this app. and we encounter a lot of challenges. And when we presented the app to the farmers, they liked a lot the potential of the information that they can have using the app. However, the farmer's life is so busy that in the end, and we sell some apps, but in the end we realize that people did not use it. We try to make the simplest way in order just to push a button to see the reports, the alert reports. But even though we have to change our market or our business, and instead of selling the app, we start selling the consultancy service. We have to change for the consultancy, because in the other way, the app will not we will end and will not be used in a more good way. Yeah, that's my experience.
Thank you, Patricia. Sana, if you have some words as well regarding these specific challenges.
Not for now. I already said a lot, I think, but for all participants, please feel free to drop me a line if you would like to discuss something specifically. Really curious to learn more about what you are doing. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Anyone from the audience, do you have some specific challenges that you encounter now while commercializing your solutions, or you are preparing to commercialize the solution that you're being developed? So, Marta, would you like to speak out?
Yeah. I don't know if you are seeing me.
We can hear you for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, first, thanks for this amazing workshop. And in our project, sorry, which is Neo Giant, we develop products based on grain mark from winemaking. So we are now in more than the middle of the project, and we have already prototypes, and they are being aside and evaluated in vivo. All our products are for livestock and aquaculture, and we have problems, or we have obstacles with the registration, because you have to first define which is your raw material, and the specifications and the limits and the regulatory issues regarding to food waste, in this case food waste from winemaking, are not perfectly defined. So I would say that this is a big problem if you use food byproducts in order to develop new products and with better value added. You need to register them in order to fulfill the requirements for the regulations for any sector. But the raw material is not considered, the limitations, the specifications, the pesticide limits, and blah, blah, blah. All this is not defined for byproducts. So for us, it's being a problem. I don't know if any other in the audience has suffer something like this.
Thank you
And
much.
also, what is your opinion, the opinion of the experts of the conference?
Thank you, Marta, for sharing. If someone would like to speak up about these regulatory issues, I would say all of them are different in each country. No matter how unified we are with the European Union, sometimes these things differ from one country to another. So if someone has a good example of how they overcame this, feel free to speak out. So Lisa, yes.
Well, unfortunately, we didn't solve it, but we had a similar, not exactly the same challenge with our SIL 4, where we were indeed processing also leftover produce, and using, in this case, it was actually not byproducts, but a new type of processing, and that required then the new product regulation to kick in. So that was one thing that if we would have wanted to continue with that way of processing, it would have been almost impossible to actually achieve the end goal. We were able to shift and to just use another processing method, so another preservation technique, and that solved which was actually having also some other benefits. So that was in the end tackled in this way, but regulation regarding new products is indeed so strict and so complicated that it really makes life more difficult. And then in SIL 8, we also have this thing where we are wanting to process also animal byproducts, and that also provides a lot of additional challenges. We are planning on organizing a workshop there with the European responsible legislators to see what exactly, if this law will be updated anytime soon, in what direction it will be updated, and to also explain a bit our challenges, because there indeed we see that local authorities, in this case Portugal, are very reluctant to even consider any kind of processing or different ways of processing these animal byproducts, expect from the one that are already being used right now, because they really use no, EU law, we cannot change it, and they don't even want to look at the research that's being done. They consider that it's then been paid for, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's if this workshop would be interested for you, Marta, please let us know. We are happy to invite you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your opinion. I think that is a matter of small change in policy, and I hope from our humble situation we can contribute to modify this challenge in policy issues.
Thank you, Marta. Thank you, Lisa. Anna, would you like to add something?
Actually, Lisa responded perfectly to the question. I just wanted to make two clarifications. So the SIL4 that we refer to in our presentation, it is mobile food processing unit, and it is focused on processing those small surpluses that Eirini before asked and Sanne commented on. So this is basically food waste of unused food that hasn't passed its due date, for example, or something like that. While in SIL 8, it is a food waste that is generated by the retail. So these are unsold products. Some of them pass their due date. So it's a quite different type of solution. With both of those, we found challenges, as Lisa very well summarized. There are different kinds of challenges, whether those on one hand can be used for human food consumption, and whether the new methods for processing those will be adopted. So two very general kind of challenges that we are trying to overcome in 0W. And happy to continue, Marta, with you and your colleagues from New Giant with this discussion during our workshops that will follow in the end of the year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna. Just to be mindful of time, we shared a lot of insights about sales, a lot of insights of currently commercialized and already commercialized solutions. All of that for us to spark the discussion about this really important topic, not just for the sector that we are targeting, but also for the general EU funding sphere. I also have some questions here, but I would like to take them online as well in form of our business group that we are having on LinkedIn. Most of you are already joined. If not, we will send you the registration link as well, and you will be added to the group. So first of all, I would like to thank Anna, Sandra, Sanne, and Patricia for joining us and sharing insights about the 0W project, but also other projects and initiatives that are tackling similar challenges. Now, when it comes to what we also do in 0W projects is that we would like to have this industry calibrated ecosystem to know what the industry wants, to know what are the challenges of the industry and how our solutions can directly influence and impact the whole food value chain. So in case you would like to join, here is the link, but of course you can always contact me on Daniel@fsuccess or my colleague Miran at miran@fsuccess.com, and we will be glad to share more information about the ecosystem with you. Everyone is, of course, free to join. It's free of charge. We want to make impact there and to create a critical mass. So please don't hesitate to join. We will be moving this discussion that we have not completely finalized. I'm sure we cannot never completely finalize this discussion to the group. So I encourage everyone to join and share their opinion about commercialization. So once again, thank you very much. And I hope that every next zero waste week that we celebrate, we will be more proud than the last year. So thank you very much for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel.
Have a nice day.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.